Welcome back to the Future Quake Show. I am Dr. Future.
And I am Tom Bionic.
And today is Friday, and that means it is...
Movie night?
No, it means it's tomorrow's Trimmers, or today's review of the Future's news.
Yes, I know.
So, we're going to actually review news today.
Yes, it
and
is,
I hope everybody enjoyed the interview with Chuck Missler, legendary figure.
You know, we didn't get a lot of words in there edgewise, as it were, but I wanted to say that from a personal standpoint, Chuck, he figured very heavily in my formation as a Christian. Mm-hmm. At one point, I spent literally almost a whole month laying on the floor in an upstairs bedroom with headphones on for 10, sometimes 16 hours a day, listening to Chuck Missler's audio commentaries of the Bible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something, you can never say thanks enough to somebody later.
Yeah.
For what they did and the influence they had.
Huge.
It's just like Hal Lindsey. I remember when, of course, it wasn't an extreme case of what you said, but when Late Great Planet Earth, my brother and I got it at a Kmart in 1976.
Wow.
He read it through like one night, and then he gave it to me as a 12-year-old, and I read through it in one day myself.
Wow.
And we never did look at anything the same since then.
Huh. Kind of like Chris Pinto's documentaries.
Yeah. Just
they do that.
Earth-shattering.
Yeah. Well, you want to jump right in to do some news?
We got some news to do. Yeah.
You want to go first?
No,
go first.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Here is the news. And actually, we've not killed 15 minutes of time before we start, which is sort of amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Putin says he says he suspects U.S. provoked Georgia crisis. Mm-hmm. This is from Reuters news wire out of Moscow. Mm-hmm. Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said on Thursday he suspected unnamed persons in the United States had provoked the conflict in Georgia in an attempt to help a candidate in the U.S. presidential election. Feel free to interrupt when you see fit.
Well, whoa. So you're saying that the Prime Minister of Russia said that some people in the United States provoked the war with Russia?
Right. Right. I know that's a shock to us. We would never ever entertain radical thoughts like that on Future Quake.
Yeah, but it's heavy to hear Vladimir Putin say that.
He'd probably enjoy Future Quake.
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, poutines are what you eat in Canada.
I know.
It's the French fries with gravy and lumps of cheese.
Yes.
He'd probably whoop us really bad if he heard us say that.
He looks tough.
He is.
Yeah. Go ahead and continue with the story.
Okay. Putin said Moscow suspected that U.S. nationals were present in the war zone in Georgia, and the Russian military produced a copy of a U.S. passport it said had been retrieved after a bloody clash between Russian troops and Georgian special forces.
Yeah. I have the name of that passport.
I have it down here, too.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But I have to tell you, Tom Bionic was the one who tipped me off on this story.
Yes.
I did not know the passport component was in it. I had seen a headline before about Putin was complaining about U.S. involvement, but then you found the passport thing, so I want to thank you for that.
Michael
Don't mean
E.
to
White.
Steal your story here.
It's okay. Michael E. White.
Now you just stole my thunder.
There you go.
Okay. White House spokeswoman Dana Perino said Putin's allegations made in an interview on CNN were, quote, patently false, and the U.S. State Department said it was ludicrous for the Russians to say they were not responsible for what happened in Georgia. Now, I don't notice Dana Perino saying anything about the passport he held up. That's a bona fide U.S.
course not.
She doesn't really comment on that.
Does she call it ludicrous, or does she call...
And I don't remember Ludacris being over there.
No.
Mostly he's just stuck with the punk rock music.
Yeah, they have a big entourage.
Yeah. They found gold chains there on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In extracts of the interview broadcast on Russian state television, Putin did not say who may have been involved or which of the candidates, Democrat Barack Obama or Republican John McCain, was to have been the beneficiary. I think we can figure that one out. The crisis in Georgia flared early this month when Georgian government forces tried to retake the separatist province in South Ossetia, and Russia launched an overwhelming counterattack. You get that? Counterattack. Mm-hmm. Referring to Russian suspicions that U.S. citizens were actually present on the battlefield on the side of Georgian forces, accused by Moscow of committing genocide during the conflict, Putin said, if that is true, if that is confirmed, then that's really bad. It's very dangerous and a mistaken policy. If that was the case, then the recent events should have an American domestic political dimension. he said in the interview. If my suspicions are confirmed, that's him talking, in that case, the suspicion arises that somebody in the United States has intentionally created this conflict with the aim of making the situation more tense and creating a competitive advantage for one of the candidates fighting for the post of U.S. President. If that was the case, it's nothing less than the use of so-called administrative resources in a domestic political fight in its worst bloody dimension.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Isn't it refreshing to hear an honest politician for once?
Well, I don't think he's...
It's a shame it's a bloodthirsty KGB agent.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how honest he is, but I think in this case he might be honest.
Well, that right there was some of the most truthful thing I've heard said in quite a while.
Sure. Oh, no, I'm not doubting that he's not honest in this case. I don't know if I'd label him honest.
You can call me Comrade Future.
Do svidaniya.
Spasiba.
Ooh.
Russian forces swept the Georgian army out of the Russian region and are still occupying some areas of Georgia proper. On Tuesday, Moscow announced it was recognizing South Ossetia and another breakaway region, Abkhazia, as independent states. Now, here's the other good part you mentioned. At a news briefing in Moscow, Russia's Deputy Chief of General Staff, Colonel General Anatoly Nogovitsyn, said Moscow's forces had retrieved from a battlefield in Georgia a U.S. national's passport. He showed an enlarged color copy of the document, which was in the name of Michael Lee White, born in 1967. Yeah, Michael Lee White, if you're listening to Future Quick right now, give us a call and let us know, or send us an email.
Yeah.
Merv will tell you, Michael, how to get a hold of us.
And in an interesting commentary on the media, when I tipped you off, after I tipped you off on the story, I went looking in Google Images for a copy of this. Couldn't find one.
Nowhere.
And they say an enlarged color photocopy of the document.
Reuters had it.
Did you see it?
Russians, no. Have you seen it?
No.
No. Well, anyway, here's some more information. It says a passport issued in the Texas city of Houston bore a current visa from Kazakhstan. U.S. citizens do not require a visa for Georgia. I find that interesting that you don't need a visa for Georgia. You do for Australia, but you don't for Georgia.
Well, probably because it's a small country.
Was that a satellite? Is that of the U.S.? Is it like Virgin Islands or something?
Well, I think it may be one of those things. It could possibly be one of those things.
It doesn't have anything to do with the size of the geography.
No, but it has to do with the fact that they were a semi-autonomous and nobody's really sure who was in charge.
I would think that would even tend more to have a requirement for a visa.
Well, who's going to stop you to go into Georgia?
You still have to look at your passport. It's not like
Maybe.
It's not like the
know.
Wild West. It's not like you just go with guns blazing.
I don't know, man. When I was a kid, I
roving
played at
gangs. It's not like Road Warrior where people with mohawks are running.
Well, I don't know about mohawks, but when I was at
the feral kid is throwing that little boomerang thing.
Yeah. Mad Max is there, and he's got his little glove on and all that stuff. No, when I was as a personal aside, when I was a young kid, I played at a sort of a barn raising dance thing. I play music there. Any of you people who collect interesting factoids about Tom Bionic. And
where's there?
There.
Where?
There.
Okay.
Anyway, I played some music in the United States at a barn raising, and the guests of honor were a bunch of Georgian nationals.
Huh.
And they were, let's just say they liked alcohol.
Yeah.
Very
and
Eastern
European
European
with the
alcoholic consumption. Yes.
Yeah.
And they got a little crazy. They sure liked American barbecue.
Did they really?
They did.
The capitalist imperialist barbecue?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that was like in 1985 or something. So
yeah, well, that's good.
Would have been imperialist barbecue at that point.
Hey, we do need to update people, though, about when last we read the news to them, we told them about the perilous situation with the ships that were going to go into Poti.
Yeah, I don't think they docked.
No, they wimped out. At the last minute, they went off to this other one away from Poti. They would not confront the Russian ships.
Well, that ought to tell you something there.
So what's going on? That's what I want to know. Vladimir Putin, he wants to know too.
Well, there is, I believe there are some more French ships and Italian ships, or not Italian, French, German, and Spanish ships on the way. That's what I heard.
Did you hear? I read too. I don't have the article here that there was an African American soldier that was captured too.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah. Total media blackout.
I think the most important thing, though, hopefully people in Future Quick have caught. Have you seen the president of Georgia eating his own tie?
I saw that too. That was very weird.
Eating his own tie. and BBC had it on there where he was doing it.
Yeah.
It looked like something on Saturday Night Live or something like that.
Yeah. What's going on with that guy?
I don't know, but I guess we should have you read a story.
He might be under a little stress, perhaps.
Could be.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, mine is, at first glance, you would think it's a little bit light. But when you start considering the implications of it, I think it's not quite as light.
Okay.
The article is called Unusual Habit. Italian priest planning nun beauty contest. Sorry, I just find that very funny. It's from the Associated Press. An Italian priest and theologian said Sunday he is organizing an online beauty pageant for nuns to give them more visibility within the Catholic Church and to fight their dour image. The Miss Sister 2008 contest will start in September on a blog run by Reverend Antonio Rungi? We'll go with Rungi. And will give nuns from around the world a chance to showcase their work and their image. Their work. Nuns are a bit excluded. They are a bit marginalized in ecclesiastical life, Rungi said. Rungi, a theologian and schoolteacher from the Naples, Italy area, said visitors to a site will have a month to vote for their favorite nun. Nuns will fill out a profile including information about their life and vocation, as well as a photographer. We're not going to parade nuns in bathing suits, Rungi said, but being ugly is not a requirement for becoming a nun. External beauty is a gift from God, and we mustn't hide it.
Now, aren't nuns supposed to be celibate?
Yes.
They offer themselves only to God.
Yes.
And it's like a marriage kind of thing.
Yes.
To God.
Yes.
And that's why they cover up so
Yes.
much out of modesty.
Yes.
So now they're sort of undoing that?
Yes.
Huh.
Now you're immediately sensing the weird implications of this. At first, it's kind of funny.
Now, was this Father Guido Sarducci?
No, this was
because that sounds like something he would do.
This was Reverend Antonio Rungi, a theologian and school teacher from the Naples, Italy area.
I surmise that they are running extremely low on nuns, and that people who want to take that kind of vow for whatever reason,
nobody buys into their theology.
Starting because priests are in low demand, so
sure
they're just figuring since by their beliefs the church can do whatever they please.
Yes,
and is not restricted by anyone.
The church is the final authority.
That they could do.
Yeah, sure.
They could burn Bibles in a big pile if they want to.
Yeah.
If the church says it's okay.
Heck, they could build a cathedral out of bones.